We're doing kind of another version of a raw brownie. It's like a little strawberry ball or a strawberry brownie. And I'm starting out with 4 cups of dehydrated walnuts that I've put in my food processor. You soak them overnight, rinse them well, and then put them in a dehydrator until they get really dry, or you can sun dry them. And then I'm going to just turn my food processor on and just turn them kind of into like a nut flour. Okay, and then once it gets kind of really finely ground down, I'm also kind of calling these a low glycemic omega-3 brownie because I use omega-3 walnuts, which are high in omega-3 oils, some chia seeds, about 1/4 cup of ground chia seeds in there. I've got xylitol instead of regular sweetener or sugar because it's low glycemic. So we'll use the little metric wonder cup to get about 3/4 of a cup of this in here. And I've already ground this xylitol into a fine powder because when you're doing raw foods, you're not heating it or you're not adding water, you'll find that the little crystallized granules of the xylitol, you'll notice them when you're eating the food. So if you grind them down into like a powdered sugary flour first, it makes it a lot more, the mouthfeel is much better. So with that in, and then just a tiny bit of coconut palm sugar, which is good for kind of adding that, without adding a lot of sugar, it just adds the mapley or coconutty sugar flavor that the xylitol doesn't really produce or bring in. So we're going to put about 1/4 cup of this, and this has also been ground down a little bit. Alrighty. Then now, because I'm not adding dates, which you would normally do in a raw food brownie, because dates are really high glycemic and people with cancer and candida or diabetes can't really eat dates, I'm going to put in I put in the xylitol, but because xylitol's powdery, I need something to kind of help it be date-like texture. And this is called Irish moss paste. I took Irish moss and I blended it with some hot water, and I'm going to put about 1/2 cup of this paste in. Just going to put it right in. Now it does smell a little fishy or like seaweed, but when you put it in your dessert, you don't ever even notice the taste. So about 1/4 cup of this in. And it gets really thick really quickly. And it helps give it more of a nice bready, brownie-like texture. The other thing I'm going to add in for some flavor is some vanilla essence. This is by Medicine Flower. I'm going to add about 6 to 10 drops of that. And I'm going to add, because I'm not doing chocolate for this one, I've already got a carob flavored brownie that I did, which, as you can see, the consistency is just like a brownie. It's really nice. I'm going to shape that into some molds in a minute. Because I'm not adding carob to this one, I want it to be more strawberry colored, I'm going to do a combination of lucuma powder, which is from a fruit that usually grows in South America, and they've dried it down. It's kind of almost like caramel, the flavor and the smell. And then this is a company called this is called Just Strawberries Powder, and it's organic, freeze-dried strawberry powder, so this is going to make a really great flavor in here. And I think it's going to taste, I haven't done it before, but I think it's going to taste really flavorful and a lot like strawberries. So let's do all together about 1/2 cup of the strawberry powder and then the rest some lucuma powder. And I think the combination is just going to be really nice. There we go. And then when I'm doing my desserts, I always like to add a little pinch of salt just to bring out the flavor. So I'm going to get my high mineral real salt and add just like in the palm of my hand, just like maybe a 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon. And that'll just help to bring out flavor. Now I could put another essence in, like cherry essence, but since we already have a pretty good strawberry flavor in there, I could add actually some strawberry essence. Oops. Let's see if I can find some berry essence in my bag of tricks here. I've got vanilla, coffee, lemon would be good. Whoop, that fig would be nice. What would go well with strawberries? There's more cherry. Blueberry. Blueberry might almost make it taste more strawberry, so I'll just call it like a berry brownie or berry bliss ball. I'll do about 4 drops of blueberry. And then I think I'm ready to turn it on. Got everything in there. Just gonna let it run until it gets into a nice consistency. shake it is just to get everything down off the sides without having to open it up a bunch of times. See how it's starting to turn into a nice ball consistency? That's what you're looking for, like a doughy ball-like consistency. Alright, at this point the only thing I might want to do, I might need to run it a little longer. And it's not super red in color, so I could add, actually it would probably make it nicer to add a blueberry powder instead of a strawberry powder, since it's now a berry brownie. Get that. So I also have the same organic just blueberries powder, which I'm going to put in there now. And I think that might be a really good combination. Let's try that. Cross our fingers that that's going to be awesome. Just let it run for a little bit longer. Alright, let's look at this. Looks like it just needs to be broken up just a little bit more. It's definitely got a nice blue color to it now. Okay, so if you can see this color, it's kind of got a pretty bluish color to it. And I'm going to try it, make sure I like it. Tastes like berries. So I'm going to shape these using one of my little molds. This is like a shell. That'll be good because I like to, when I do the different flavors, I like to distinguish which is which by using different shapes. So then you can just take your batter and place it right in here. And just fill it up with your hands, with your fingers. If your fingers are getting too sticky, you can put some water on them and that helps usually. So the reason I like to do this, especially if you're selling these or you're taking them to an event, is that they're all the same size that way and you don't have to worry about cutting the shape into the exact same size. This is a much easier way to do it. Alright, so I'm going to fill these up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what they're going to look like when finished. Okay, I've got some brownie ones in the freezer that I'm going to take out, if you can see that. And then what these will do is they'll pop out when they're nice and cold. You have like a perfect little brownie bar. And I can maybe put a walnut or an almond right on top. Aren't those cute? Perfect. Perfect shape. Thanks for joining me.